Hello, it is the 23rd Saturday after Pentecost, and our reading today is out of Matthew chapter 13, verses 31 to 35. Two more parables that Jesus tells: the parable of the mustard seed and the parable of the leaven. And they both teach us something very important. And Jesus lets us know really when he's talking about the mustard seed, because he talks about how small the mustard seed is. And if you have seen mustard seeds, if you keep that kind of mustard in your house that has the seeds inside of it, you know that mustard seeds are very tiny. And yet the mustard bush is a large bush. And in fact, it's big enough that birds of the air can nest in it. And Jesus is making the point that it's the very tiny things. He's talked about planting seeds. He's talked about the parable of the sower. He's talked about the sowing of the wheat and the tares or the weeds. So he's talking again about planting, about sowing, about a tiny seed and how much of a difference that makes. Also with leaven, if you think about leaven, leaven is just yeast that causes bread to rise. And if you've seen yeast, again, it's a tiny little powder. It's a little animal that's in a tiny little powder, and it causes the bread to rise. It's a very small thing. It doesn't take much yeast to make a lot of bread and to make bread rise tremendously. So again, the principle is that something very small makes a very big difference. The seed itself may not seem like much. The yeast itself may not seem like much, especially when you look at individual bits of yeast or a single mustard seed. But just that little bit changes the world. Just that little bit makes a huge difference. And you may be in a mustard seed or a leaven situation where you seem very small, where you seem like it doesn't matter, where you seem like there's no big difference being made. But over time, remember we saw patience yesterday, and we still see patience today in these parables, that the kingdom of God is about waiting and is about patience. But we'll see, even if we're the mustard seed, even if we're a bit of leaven, that we can make a huge difference for the kingdom, because he says the kingdom of God is like this. Make a huge difference for the kingdom right around us. I encourage you with that word today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.